I spent $2,200 just on food last Wednesday. And I got my ass handed to me this weekend because all the rain.
So you didn't even use any
So
of that food?
where I thought I was going to profit probably maybe 4 or 5, I think I made $1,000.
Wow.
And people are like, oh, you made $1,000 in a day. You also have to think of it like this. I don't work every day. So split whatever I make up by days.
Yeah. They think $1,000 day means
No, $1,000 just paid my insurance for all 3 trucks for this month. You know, I feel like people think that oh, you make so much in an event. No, baby, you don't know all the bills I have and the staff I pay out, and yeah, there's a lot of overhead.
Yo. We are back. It is This Side of Jersey podcast, the #1 podcast in the world, stamped. I am your only host for this evening. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe at TSOJ Podcast. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to follow and download at TSOJ Podcasts. Sorry, I'm getting acquainted to this, guys. This is a new situation. Our guest stole my mic, so adjusting. We have a very special guest today, y'all. Very, very special guest. I'm very excited for this one. But before we get into it, we got to get into our layup lines, okay? So for those who do not know, layup lines is a segment where we like to get our guests loose, right, before they go into the interview. So we ask them a bunch of this or that questions. So they get to have a little fun, get the blood flowing, and then we get into the interview, okay? So, contestant, you need to answer in 24 seconds as fast as possible, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right. 24 on the clock. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Cooking breakfast or cooking dinner?
Cooking dinner.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Brick and mortar establishment or trucks?
Trucks.
Restaurant chain or high popularity in one major city?
High popularity.
Field hockey or basketball?
Field hockey.
Never cook again or never work out again?
Oh, never cook again.
Jamie or Josh?
Oh, Josh.
DOG or Josh? Oh, there it is.
I thought you were going to do that.
There it is. That's why I was like, this is going to be funny. I think we should do that. All right, wait. The rest of my questions, though, were... wait, what was Jamie or Josh? What was that answer? Was that Josh?
It was Josh.
All right,
Jamie,
Josh. Shout out Josh. And then we had DOG or Josh.
DOG.
Okay. Word.
No.
Word. He's like, yeah, I see it. I see it. All right, wait. I wasn't done yet, though. Seafood or Mexican food?
Seafood.
What if I said cooking seafood or Mexican food?
Me and myself cooking?
Yeah.
Can't or do it?
Would you rather cook seafood or Mexican food?
Seafood.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love seafood. Mexican's too easy.
This one's kind of character telling, so this will tell a lot about you. Would you rather sell all of your trucks for $1 million or have 7 trucks making $500K a year?
Each or just 500K?
Just
with
500K.
7? Well, that's just unrealistic because I would be super rich with 7 trucks. I wouldn't make 500K. So I would have to choose the 7 trucks.
Let's say inflation killed you.
Okay.
And you only
$1 million, so then I can reinvest it into something else.
Okay.
And then get rid of all the.
I was trying to make that sound like it was selling your soul a little bit, but I feel like there was a lot of logic in that. I feel
Is it selling your soul? If there's business opportunities
That's what I'm
everywhere?
saying. Yeah, it wasn't as character telling as I would like it to have been. Our next guest, y'all, clearly she has morals and business savvy. She is the CEO of Red's Rolling Restaurant 1, 2, and 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Megan Hilbert is here in the flesh.
Hello. You messed the name up. Like I said, everyone does at first.
What's that? I'm sorry.
You said Rolling Reds.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone does it. I don't know what it is.
I think people rush to the rolling.
They do.
Because it's fun.
But I'm like, RRR, easy to remember. But then people Red's Rolling Cafe. I'm like, no.
I
Then I regretted the Red's Rolling Restaurant when I type it out on every single application because that's a lot of letters.
Wait, I'm trying to like in my head right now. Somebody was like, "Yo, did you see Megan's trucks?" I'm like, "Yeah." Red's roll. No, I would say Red's Rolling.
People usually say Red's now.
Yeah.
I should have just kept it at Red's.
It was just Red's. That was the name.
No, it was always Red's Rolling Restaurant, but
Oh,
now
okay.
I regret it because it's a lot to write on
Yeah.
applications.
Do the Dunkin' thing. You know how they got rid of the donuts? Now it's just Dunkin'.
I should.
You should just be Red's.
Just for my own sake.
Yeah, if you do that, let me know. We'll talk about my splits. We'll talk about my splits when that happens. Listen, we are here because for some time now, you have had booming food trucks in the South Jersey, but you've also been to Pennsylvania and other places. But we need to talk because I've never seen this done by anyone that I know. The food truck thing was always like a thing that I thought just belonged to cities and like you kind of just see them when you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we watched you build this company. We watched you build Red's Rolling 1, 2, and 3, right? Talk about when this idea started, right? And when you do it, try to be as micro-minded as possible, right? Like try to forget how much success you have right now, right? Try to put yourself when you kind of came upon this idea.
Okay.
What were the fears? Like, how did it come about? Like, just kind of paint that picture for us.
So I actually did not want anything to do with the food truck industry at all. I went to Rowan, and I was there for communication studies, public relations, dual major, and then a minor in advertising. And my dream was to go to Philadelphia, move there, get like a job as like a spokesperson for a company, like dress up cute every day and do the whole city thing. That's literally what I wanted to do. And then throughout college, I had bills to pay, rent to pay, all that. So I started working at restaurants, which I've been in restaurants since I was young anyway. I just know it's quick, easy money. So I was bartending at first at Landmark for a second, but the late
Shout
night-
out Landmark, man.
Shout out Landy.
Landy,
It's not
bruh.
the same anymore.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets back, but
They had too many situations.
Yeah.
Just had to cut back, yeah.
But I couldn't work there because I was getting done at like 3 in the morning and I had field hockey practice at 7 a.m. So I found the diner, PB's Diner. Do you remember?
Shout out PB's, man, of
PB's,
course.
Yes, PB's Diner. So that's the establishment that helped me pay my rent. I was the brunch bartender. I missed a lot of day drinks, but I was making money. So, you know.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
The money
You did
always
right.
motivated me.
Yeah.
So then I just realized like I love what the restaurant industry does for my time. Meaning like time's important to me. You can't get time back and like I want to spend my time doing what I want to do. And being able to work at the restaurant industry only like 2 days out of the week helped me time manage to, you know, do field hockey, to do internships, to pay my rent, but to also, you know, have a social life in college. So I just really, really loved what the restaurant industry could do for me in regards to time and money. It was just going hand in hand. I could make $500 in a day and their rent was paid, you know?
Yeah.
So then moving forward, when I was about to graduate, I was bartending one night, and do you know the Mexican mariachi girl on campus? It's a new Mexican restaurant.
I do not know.
So it's across the street from Barnes & Noble's on
Okay.
Rowan Boulevard. And the owner and the manager would come into my bar, and they would just ask me questions. They owned another one in Ewing area at the TCNJ campus,
It's
I
close
think.
to me. Yeah.
But it wasn't a bar. It was like a Chipotle-style takeout type place.
Okay.
So this was their first like sit-down restaurant and bar.
Okay.
So they would just ask me for advice and things. And then as they kept coming in and asking me, I was like, why am I just giving this information out for free? You know, like,
Yeah.
so then I was like, all right, what if I was to build a company? And I have the name and everything when I was like there. It was called MH Communication Solutions.
Okay.
And I wanted to be someone to help restaurants brand themselves and like promote themselves. And I was telling them like, there's nothing that goes on campus on Fridays. We can literally do a Fiesta Friday and have everybody on campus there instead of frat parties that all the older kids didn't want to go to anymore.
Yeah.
So like I was like, I bartended in this area. I know exactly, like all my clientele were the families that lived in Glassboro for years, like the blue collar workers, like, so I knew the clientele in regards to the college aspect and to the neighborhood aspect. So I was like, I can really help these people build something.
Yeah.
So I actually pitched it to them. they invited me to come and like tell them what I had. But instead of hiring me as a communications solution person, they offered me a GM position. And I was 22 years old and about to graduate, and I needed a job, and they was talking a little bit of money. So I was like, okay, like let's try that out. Like, I liked everything about. I was a hostess, I was a manager, I was a bartender. Like, I was like, all right, fine, like let's try this out. So lo and behold, I moved to Collingswood, and I was commuting to Glassboro, and it wasn't my favorite. I just didn't really like the back end of things at a restaurant. Maybe if I had more help, they didn't really let me hire any other managers, so I was doing like scheduling, hiring, firing, training, kitchen inventory, everything. Everything. My only day off was Sunday, and like I said, I value my time, so that was really like a struggle for me.
And remind me again, at this point, you are graduated at this point?
Graduated, and now general manager at the Mexican Mariachi Grill and Tequila Bar. And like, I'm the first one, so like I hired all their first crew. I trained everybody. Like, we had our opening day, which I knew we were not ready. 100% we were not ready. And I told them, I was like, listen, if we open, we're going to get demolished. But they were getting pressure to open from who they were renting from, so they ended up opening, and we literally sold out of liquor.
Wait, I have a question. I got a question. So I want to take it back to where when they first asked you to be the GM, right? And obviously they were talking the money, so you were like, yes, right? Was there ever a point, because I'm thinking of just like the mind of an average 22-year-old, right? Where it's kind of like, it seems like you're already, the average 22-year-old is already overwhelmed with becoming an employee at that age. Because like, you're graduating, you're kind of like, I gotta get a job. Like, you're kind of like stressing about that part. And not many of them are offered such a position, right? Where it's like, you're in charge of kind of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, is there fear involved in that? Are you doubting yourself? Are you kind of like, no, I kind of got it, like, based on the advice that I gave them? Like, I'm assuming, in my head, I assume that was not just a simple transition of like, yeah, I'll be the GM, and like, just kind of like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, right now, if somebody asked me, yo, be the GM of fucking anything, I'd be like, no. Like, absolutely not.
That's like a good point. You know what's crazy? Like, I was never asked that question before. And like, to me, leadership comes natural. It always has. Like I was president of my class in high school.
Yo, you was on top in high school. I ain't gonna lie. You was on your shit.
I mean, but not in like the mean girl kind of way. Like, I'm a very like.
Nah, you was, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but there is leadership that is like that. But I've always been like a lead by example type of person, and that even followed into college. I was captain of the field hockey team and president of student athlete advisory committee. So like, leadership roles come natural to me, and I don't see it as a scary thing. I see it as the next challenge. Like, oh, okay, they want me to do this. Okay, how are we gonna do this? But it's not like oh my God, how are we gonna do this? It's like how are we gonna do this? Like, let's sit there, plan. I think communication skills play a very large role in my success as a leader and my not being scared of being in these leadership roles, because if I don't understand something, I'm going to let you know I don't understand something, because I'm not going to look like an asshole when I'm doing the wrong thing when I should have just asked from the beginning.
And I got that feel when you said that you knew you weren't ready to open. It's like, because that also is an easy time to like, you're wearing the pants, right? So it's like, if you say we're open, Meg, we're ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like up to you.
Yeah.
And I could just see where that would separate the room and people who would back down and be like, no, right? And then like. But
that leads me into why I wasn't happy there, because they should have looked at me and been like, oh, Meg doesn't think we're ready. We shouldn't open. But as the owners, they went above me and they opened, and it was a shit show. Like I knew it was going to be. Yeah. So like, that was just the first of many times where I was undermined in my position there. And I don't know if it was because I was 22 or if because I was the only female, but it was very difficult sometimes to get my point across. And I'm like, you're entrusting me with all this responsibility. Where does my respect come in? Yeah. You know, like I would have vendors from like liquor reps or people that try and, you know, get their food into your restaurant. They would like ask for the general manager, and I'd be like, that's me. And they'd be like, no, honey, not the floor manager, like the GM. And it was just adding and adding and adding. And I'm like, man. And then another thing, I was like, I'm doing all this work for these people, and I can just do it myself. Like, I could literally run a restaurant myself and make these executive decisions that I need them to make for me myself.
Yeah.
So, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not happy here.
Can I ask you a question? This topic has been on my, it's been coming up a few times as of recent. And I told you, like, the plans that he and I have, long term. And something that I was kind of living with, right, is this idea of you have to learn how to be an employee before you can be a boss, right? And that's something that I've been telling myself every time I'm kind of like, man, fuck this. I want to just do my shit full time and quit my job. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I understand you want to do that and you have that passion, right? But like, you do have to learn how to be an employee first. And what I mean by that is, for example, last year when I used to teach, my school was very lenient, very like, you could get away with a lot of stuff. Not that much stuff. But
oh, that sounds like a story.
We'll talk later. But I would be late and I would call out a lot. Like, I was late pretty much every day, to the point where it was like not even a thing. Like, I was just
because you're not a morning person.
In, right?
That's why I didn't do the teaching.
Exactly. And I could call out a lot. Like, there was not a lot of, you know what I mean? And this year I have a new school. It's not too much closer than what my old job was, but I'm learning to like go to work every day even if you don't want to go, and like kind of like doing that kind of thing. Like the little small, like get there on time every single day. Like, wake up, go to work, like don't call out. Just trying to learn how to like essentially be an employee.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're not going to be able to run your business if every day their alarm goes off and you're like, oh fuck, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like just work that into my everyday. Like, you got to learn, you can't do this if you're going to be a boss. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. So I said that because I was hearing you talk about like all these responsibilities. I'm like, I'm thinking about where I was at 22, like, and obviously whatever, but it's just like to hear you say like these things, like even processing like, yo, why don't I do it myself? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wasn't thinking that way at 22. It just was like, I'll just do whatever you tell me. I need a job. It's like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? You were so like,
I don't know. Like, there's not like any reason. I just like want to be successful. Like, and another thing is like what you were saying about waking up. I hated waking up for practices and 8 a.m.s, but you had to do it. You just had to do it, to get to the next thing. Like, I think it's another thing about the next thing. Like, I'm not the type of person that dwells in the past. Like when I tore my ACL senior year of high school, my field hockey season. So I was out field hockey, softball, and basketball. And I was just over high school at that point because sports was a big reason
like,
that I loved school, for everyone.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I can't even play anymore. Like, why am I even here? I'm ready for the next thing. Like, I'm mentally checked out. Same for, like, senior year of college. Like, I was like, okay, this was fun. We had a great time. We met people. I learned a lot. But what's next? Like, same with after I got the first truck. I'm like, okay, that's cool. What's next? Like, you need to be hungry for what's next. And you can't be too hard on yourself either, because there's definitely been days that I woke up as a business owner and I'm like, man,
not today.
I'm canceling this. Yeah. Now, maybe it wasn't the best thing to do, but like, I also had to worry about my own like mental health and what I wanted, because you can really run yourself dry running a business. And there's been breaking points for me, but I was just like, what else am I going to do? I already made it this far. Like, I might as well just keep going. What am I going to do? Quit and go bartend somewhere? Like, why? Just get through it.
If you can identify, when was there a point where you had to make a decision to keep going when the easy decision was to walk away?
Well, I would actually say quitting the Mexican restaurant was way harder for me than it should have been. Like, I'm not very good at quitting things. Like, anything. Like,
this is a good thing.
It is, but it isn't, because it can drive you insane. Like, field hockey for me in college did not turn out the way I wanted it to. But I always had hope. Like, I should have quit and got an internship somewhere and like got my experience in my actual field, but I didn't want to quit the sport. I'm like, if I quit, then I am literally a loser. Like, I'm not quitting. Yeah. So I stayed. I hoped things would get better. I tried to make the best out of it. And looking back on it now, I'm glad I didn't quit, because now I do everythh for Rowan Athletics with the food trucks. If I would have quit my sophomore year, would I have made that relationship? So quitting the Mexican restaurant, I was just like, damn, I'm really going to do this to these people. Like, they entrusted so much in me. But then I'm like, they don't really care about me.
How much they really, yeah, right.
Yeah,
right,
and
right,
that was
right,
another
yeah.
thing. Like, I was listening to my sister, too. So my sister, I have a twin, Becca.
Yeah, shout out Beck. Yeah, we know Beck.
Beck.
Come on now, man. Pennsauken. Come on now.
So she works in environmental lobbying now. And when she first started, she was doing, I forget what the nonprofit was called, but it was out of Camden. And she was like struggling because she was there and she was like, I know my worth and like I should be getting a raise. And that was another thing that just scared me about corporate America was like, I won't get a raise unless someone else deems me good enough to get that raise instead of me chasing it and getting it because I deserve it. You mean to tell me that this man's supposed to look me over in my eyes across the table and be like, yeah, Meg, I think you deserve a raise now. I know I deserve a raise now. Give it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's another reason why that corporate America life just wasn't for me. So when I quit the Mexican restaurant, it was hard, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I got a job bartending, and then my mom entered food truck world. She owns food trucks. She's had 2 trucks.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, she owns food trucks.
Okay.
So, since I was in middle school, maybe, my dad bought her first truck. And she's always been a hustler. She was always babysitting. She was always working at restaurants.
Man,
like
shout out Mom
she
Dukes,
had her own
man.
Yeah, she always had her own everything. So I definitely, and my dad owns his own construction company. So I definitely like have that entrepreneurial spirit from my parents. But I also have like I was the first one out of my family, me and Becca, to go to college. So like I also have an education more than high school behind me as well. So there was a lot of differences in between how me and my mom like to do business. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with our own life experiences, mine including college and hers just grind it, like getting out the mud. Like she was from Philly, they didn't have any money. They came up from nothing, but they both made something from themselves. So that's ingrained in my blood as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I teach high school students, and a lot of them obviously don't understand like the importance of school. And I get the whole like school doesn't matter argument. I get where it's coming from. I do. But I often say like school does a lot for you that you won't be able to do. Put it like this. I think school essentially teaches you how to do, like how I said, like you have to be an employee before a boss. I think school teaches you that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that it's not designed to keep you an employee for the rest of your life. What I'm saying is in school, you learn how to socialize. In school, you learn how to like emotionally solve problems. In school, you learn how to decide like, okay, I know I got to listen to you, but this sounds like kind of some bullshit, and I'm going to challenge you as a teacher, and I'm going to push back, and I'm going to, right? Like you kind of learn those things, right? So I often say like school teaches you how to think. Like you have to learn how to think before you are put out in the world.
Yeah.
And like in the meantime, yes, you're going to do some algebra, but like that's essentially what it's training you for, right?
Yeah.
So I say that to say, what do you think, comparing your parents, right? Who, and not, I won't say comparing in a bad way, but you mentioned how your parents did not go to college, still were successful entrepreneurs, but did not go to college. How would you say that college specifically has helped you, even though you're still an entrepreneur, just like them, a successful entrepreneur? How would you say that college has given you the advantage in that, in that world?
I would say that college has taught me how to communicate, like you said, in the professional field more. Like, there are things that my mom says to customers that I'm just like, you did not actually just say that to them. You know what I mean? Like, now, granted, it works for her, but like, I would never, and that's just not my brand either. Like, there are things that my dad might find overwhelming, like multitasking. Like he gets very overwhelmed, like when he has to do payroll, he has to do this, he has to do this. I learned how to multitask so well in college because of my full-time course load, field hockey, same with high school, 3 sports. I was in like every club imaginable. Like it teaches you how to multitask. It teaches you how to be successful, how to work in teams. I love like team sports. That's what I thrived in, and I feel like that is really what my whole business is about right now. And I don't know, I just feel like college better prepared me for this, and I also feel like it allowed me to go further than my mom quicker. Maybe it was college, maybe it's just the times, like food trucks are now a really popular thing now, whereas when my mom started, it was like they were roach coaches, and you know, you don't want to eat off of a food truck.
I'm sorry? What was it called?
Roach coach?
A
You never
roach
heard
coach.
that?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, don't say it because, you know.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
but no, that was the thing. Like, people
Fucking roach
weren't really
coach.
like, they're like, how are we going to eat off of this truck that, like, just pulled up?
Yeah.
How do we trust it, you know? So, it's...
That, when you say it like that, it is a little sketchy.
It is.
It is a little sketchy. You don't know what's going on in there.
Exactly. I mean, so, like, she had also started her business in a separate, like, she always called herself, like, the first mobile diner on wheels, because she really was. Like, she started with this food truck that, like, you didn't even work inside of it. Like, you opened the back of it, you walked out, and you served.
Like cooked outside
Yeah.
type shit.
Yeah, so, like, she came a long way, but, like, I was able to do, like, I have 3 food trucks, and I did it in 4 years. Like... But I think that's where college helped me, because it helped me critical think. It helped me be able to push through things on my own. Like, I've been on my own since I was 18. Like, I didn't go home. Like, I've been living on my own since 18. So everything was independent. Everything was by my own skin and my own teeth. You know what I mean? So I feel like school is very important. And, you know, it might not be for everybody. My brother didn't like school, but he did it. Like, but it's important. It is.
It came to mind when you brought up your mom and your dad not going to college versus you.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I didn't have the loans. That would be lit.
That's
but
facts.
Here we are.
That's facts. That's
And
facts.
COVID's over, so.
Yeah. they bring them bitches back.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go back. So, okay, you were bartending because you left the Mexican spot.
Yes.
Right. So now, okay, you're bartending for how long now before
So
the next
only a
thing?
couple months. I got hired at a bar in Collingswood, well, Westmont area, Keg and Kitchen. Shout out Janet and Kevin. They're awesome people.
Shout out.
They hired me, and then my mom just got her second food truck, and she was like, hey, Meg, like, I don't know, you know, if you're interested, but, like, I kind of want somebody to run my second food truck. Now, I'm like, I'm not working for a single soul, whether it's my mom. Like, bartending's one thing. Bartending's quick, easy money. It's fun. It doesn't even feel like a job. It's fun, you know, and it was paying the bills. I was having a good old time. But then I was like, listen, this might actually be a good business opportunity. You know, like, growing up, I was doing all the dishes. I was cooking the eggs in the morning before school for her morning shift. So I, like, didn't want anything to do with it. Like, it scared me to be doing all that. So I was like, but wait, if I can make so much money bartending for, like, 10-hour shift or whatever, make maybe $700 on a good day, I know the kind of money my mom was making on the trucks. Like, she could go to an event, if it was catering, she could make like $4,000 in 3 hours. So I was like, this might be...
The math is mathing.
Yeah, and the time is timing,
Yeah,
you know,
time
like
is
I was
timing.
saying. Because, like, 4 hours on a food truck, $4,000 is double what I would make at a 10-hour shift bartending. Like, maybe this is something. So then I was like, listen, I don't want to run your business. Like, what if I bought the truck off of you and then did my own thing with it, and then we help each other get events. Yeah. So that's what we did. And this was the truck. This was the original truck.
Was that an easy sell to your mom?
No.
Okay.
No,
I was going to say,
no. She's
went
like, you
over
don't
it
want
like
to
it
be
was
in
like
this business, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no, but I feel like I didn't have enough internship experience in regards to my majors. And, like, I did the restaurant industry right out of college. So I'm like, how am I going to get back into my major? And that was the biggest thing, because I'm like, damn, like, I got these 2 degrees, but I honestly feel like I can't use them because they're going to ask me what my experience is.
What were you doing when you graduated?
Yes, and I'm like, I had an internship on campus with this investment company. I was doing the advertising for them, which was a cool experience. There's so many rules that you can't say things and promise things in investment, like advertising. So that was cool to learn. But I also didn't like it there either, because, like, when I'm in the mood, like, I'm going, I want to finish something. Like, I don't like to, like, stop and start tomorrow. But they would be like, well, we're 9 to 5, so you need to stop at 5. And I'd be like, but why? Like, I'm on a roll, you know? And that time thing just threw me off. Another reason.
Wait, you were trying to go past 5 if I'm on a roll?
Yes, because I'm like, I want to finish this. And they'd be like, no.
It was different. I'll be at the clock out joint at 4:49, like, waiting for the okay.
I think I just get really, like, passionate about things that I do. So, like, that helps. That's probably a driving
For
factor.
sure, yeah, because I ain't got it. I ain't got it.
No,
bro.
you definitely have it for what you are passionate about. When you like your spoken word and so don't act like you don't. You just didn't have it for.
Did you see that?
This?
Did you see that?
This place is haunted. I didn't tell you.
Well, I'm glad you did now before you
fucking. It's not.
That's hilarious. Damn, what were you talking about? I'm trying to think about ghosts.
We talking about.
God damn it, Meg.
Clock, hours. Oh, the truck.
Yeah, there we go. Hours.
So I bought. So I finally convinced my mom. Mind you, she wouldn't even let me drive this thing myself. She would make my dad drive it to the first like 2 or 3 events.
So you wasn't even working alone.
And my dad is 6'4" and has no business being on a small truck like this and doesn't cook. And I'm like, Dad, you're gonna have to tell her that I'm driving this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm a grown ass person. Like, let me drive my own truck. You know, like I was pissed. Jamie was my friend Jamie was actually on the truck with me my first event too. It was funny, but I actually never tried my menu out until my first event.
Wait, I was gonna ask you though. I got questions. So, because there's more than just driving the truck that you got to do. You got to cook the food, and you got to. All right. So was that? You said you cooked eggs in the morning, which is drastically different from a menu. So was it a transition to get from cooking eggs in the morning for mom to now you have a menu in which people say?
So it's crazy because like I feel like people think that you need to be some like culinary star to start a food truck, but like. I mean, I'm Italian. Like cooking was in my family, but it wasn't anything that anyone went to school for. Like I just knew I would cook for my roommates in college and have family meals, and I like to cook, and I know I can cook, and my food tastes good. But like when I was thinking about my menu, I was just thinking about what other people would eat, like basic buffalo chicken, cheesesteak, pulled pork, like
fun foods.
I also kind of wanted a concept that was more like a classier food truck in a sense, like a little bougie, because like I didn't like the whole grease trap, bright color, corny mascot type thing. Like I wanted something that somebody would book for their wedding, like, and would look cute in pictures. And I was also kind of going for like a Panera Bread vibe in a sense, where it was like healthier because this truck didn't have a fryer when I first got it, so I had to really like be creative with the menu. And I was also like, so there's a store, I don't know if you know, it's called Restaurant Depot.
Yeah.
It's in Pennsauken.
Yeah.
And my mom would always bring me there. And when I was little, I used to think it was the most amazing spot. I was like, this is like Home Depot, but for food. And then you would walk in the refrigerator, and it was a huge room of just refrigeration. I'm like, this is wild. So one day I just went in there, and I was like walking around trying to get ideas on what I could cook and what would make the most sense, because I was trying to do as much as I can with as little ingredients as possible, so I wouldn't have food waste and all that.
Smart.
But from there, I developed like a 20+ menu item that I regularly vend with, but like it's all the same base. It's all chicken, pork, steak, or veggies with different sauces. So like there is no food waste because everything goes into everything. So, and then once I got my second truck and I had fryers put on them, it was a whole nother game. Like fries make you so much money, it's stupid. Like it's
that
just,
100%.
like someone gets a $14 sandwich and they obviously want a side of fries with it. That's $6. Everyone's like, oh, it doesn't come with fries. No, bitch, that shit's a la carte.
Speaking
so I can
of
make
which,
more money.
Can we talk? Is that why Shake Shack and them do that shit?
Hell
you gotta buy it. That's why.
Hell yeah, they're losing money if they bundle stuff. The only time I bundle anything is if I like have a special and I want to get rid of something. Like I'll be like a burger and fry for $15. But everything else, no, ma'am, your kid's chicken tenders does not come with fries. You gotta buy that extra.
So you and Shake Shack are the same type people. You're saying
yes.
I feel some kind of way about that. I feel like I was supporting.
Okay, but put yourself in my shoes. You just want to give someone fries for free?
No, that's facts. I would definitely rather pay you a la carte than Shake Shack. But it's just, I just feel
Shake Shack's OD. But all of them people. Every time you go to the stadiums, I spent $23 the other night. I went to the Neo concert. I bought chicken fingers, fries, and a soda.
Neo, Alicia
there was 2 tenders on my plate.
Where was the concert?
What's that venue by the zoo?
Oh shit!
It was pouring rain the entire concert.
Wow,
it was horrible.
Yeah.
But $23.
I was gonna say, right? I feel like, so my friend, shout out Jose. He gifted me. He didn't gift me, but he got Eagles preseason tickets.
Oh.
And he was like, "Where you want to go?" Like, I got tickets. Like, just come. So I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And then, like, in my head, you're kind of like, "Oh, I can get drinks and stuff because I didn't pay for a ticket." So I'm right. Bro, the beer was like $16,
Yeah,
bro.
for
And I'm
one.
like, that's a beverage.
For
Like, that's not
one.
even no food. Like, I think like everything came to like $39 for me with like tenders,
Damn.
fries, and like my beer.
But this is my question. Are the stadium charging that because there's a bunch of different questions I have.
Yeah.
One,
Because I
it's a
got the
captive
answers, so,
audience.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah, I know.
it's a captive audience, right? So
Uh-huh.
they're gonna have to pay it regardless because you can't go anywhere else to get anything because you're in a stadium.
You're trapped, yeah,
You're trapped.
essentially, yep,
So captive
okay.
audience, one, check that off the list. Two, the smaller businesses that are renting space in there, how much is the stadium asking for from
Charging
them?
them for that rent.
Because they might be
Wow.
trying to make up for it on the back end.
Yeah.
So would it be worth it to get a stand in the Eagle Stadium for a Red's Rolling Restaurant? Possibly, depending on how much they're charging me to be there. Because I was walking in there and I saw food trucks that was in there, I guess for the pregame because they was shut down by the time we got there. But I'm like, is it worth the hassle?
All right. We do this segment every day where I try to break people's souls. We didn't
don't
name
have
it
a
yet.
soul,
We
I
didn't
read
name it
it.
yet. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, whatever's left, we're trying to break. We do this segment where I try to break people's soul because I don't believe that they're as morally sound as they say they are. So, I am Doug Schneider Stin with Eagles PR and merchandising. I don't think they would be in the same department. So I've caught wind of Red's Rolling Restaurant. I've seen it on Instagram. I've seen it, on Fox 29 and all the stuff. We've seen it. We're thinking we'll bring you in for a game. Okay. We know, we got to charge rent, but we figure that if we can get you in here, let's say the Eagles are playing the Giants next weekend, it should be a pretty good game, pretty festive game. We're thinking, let's get you in there and we'll charge you $6,000.
Fuck no.
Can I tell you why I came up with that first? Can we break character for a second?
Yeah,
Time out?
yeah.
Okay. The reason why I said that was because you said that your mom made $4,000 in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that was not at Eagles versus Giants.
But that was catering. There's different events. Like vending and catering are two different beasts.
Oh, right.
Like vending is like you show up somewhere and you hope to make money.
You're just there. Yeah.
People charge you usually, which is bullshit.
Catering, you're working.
Catering
You're
is
doing
someone
it.
paid you to be there.
Yeah.
So there's times when I made $5,000. They told me there was gonna be like 400 motherfuckers there. I think I served 50 people, and I still walked away with that same amount of money. I love catering.
It's 'cause they
Vending
overpay
is
all the time.
risky. Vending is where I lose my ass. Vending is where I send 2 trucks out, and one of them makes literally $50, and then I have 3 employees in there, and I end up making negative money. But then the other truck does like $2,000, so like it balances, but not really, because if I had 2 catering events, I would be up. It's like a gamble.
So what number could they approach you with and say, we want you to do a game? Huh?
Go back to character, yeah. I only
Oh,
talk
yeah,
to
back to character. Back
Dan
in.
from
This is Doug Schmieders.
Doug.
I forgot what my last name was. Doug Schmieders. Listen, we sent the first initial offer. You got back to our team, said you didn't like the offer. And we like you, Meg. We like you. We don't want to break your pockets. You're a local name. We heard 6,000 was a lot. Okay, so we'll bring it down. Let's say we will charge you $3,500 to come set up shop. You sell some food. Whatever money you make is the money you make.
What about 1,000 and then 10% of my sales? Because here's my thing. 1,000, that's still a lot of money. Like, because I still have food costs, I still have staff for the day, which is probably going to be a long ass day, like probably 14 plus hours there. And what if nobody buys? I only paid $1,000, and if you get 10% of my sales, you get the sales of the day that I make. So if I don't make anything, you don't make anything, and if I do make stuff, you make stuff. But you still promised at $1,000.
Meg, we're not a fan of the pushback here at Eagles VP and merchandise. Listen, we'll put $2,500 on the table.
Done. I'll do it.
There we go. That's
I
how
would
we
do
get business
2,500.
done. That's how we get business done
Because then
here.
you also have to figure, I would have to get my Philly permits, because I don't have them, unless they say you don't need them, because maybe they just have that big of a pool in the city. But that's a whole nother thing. I don't have my license in Philadelphia.
So there are upfront costs associated with you having to do like an event. It's like, so what do you what like average, what are you coming out of pocket for an event? Like, is it hurting you? You don't gotta say the number, but more so
No,
is it like a or is it kind of just like whatever?
So I guess it really depends. My philosophy, which I think works, but I also am in this full time. There's people that do this just for
on the side
on
or
the
something.
weekends.
Yeah.
But for my full time philosophy is, if I can make events and do events during the week, that pays for my groceries, and then the weekends just profit. So like this week I have 4 events this week. 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, 2 Thursday. Now, I'm going to probably have to re-up on groceries before the weekend, but those 4 events should make me enough money and maybe some extra profit to whereas this weekend, which I have 6, 7, 8, 9 events in one weekend, should be all profit. But my grocery bills, now that I have 3 food trucks,
are higher.
I spent $2,200 just on food last Wednesday. And I got my ass handed to me this weekend because all the rain.
So you didn't even use
any
of that food?
Where I thought I was going to profit probably maybe 4 or 5, I think I made $1,000.
Wow.
And like people are like, oh, you made $1,000 in a day. Like you also have to think of it like this. I don't work every day. So like split whatever I make up by days.
Yeah. They think like $1,000 day means
No, $1,000 just paid my insurance for all 3 trucks for this month. You know, like I feel like people think that like, oh, you make so much in an event. No, baby, like you don't know all the bills I have and the staff I pay out, and there's a lot of overhead. So like that's why I get so stingy when organizers come up to me and they're like, oh, $300 for this event. Even, you know what pisses me off even more? The small charges. $50 for this event. What do you need my $50 for? What is $50 going to get you?
Oh, you're saying like if you're going to charge me,
yes. I mean, I'm grateful that it's low, but I'm also like, you might as well not have charged me at all then. Like, that's stupid.
Well, we got to remember the little guys. You got to remember little guys who can pay what they can afford to pay, I guess.
I mean, no, because I was like grateful in the beginning for those $50, but now it's a nuisance. I'm like, really? What you want to use $50
Now they're like those little fees at the bottom of your fucking phone bill. You're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Or the fire permits. Another annoying thing is, so this is only a Jersey law too. It's not in Philly. I learned so much about this stuff. Each truck needs its own fire suppression system for each instrument in the truck. So like you need like a spout that can extinguish things on the grill, on the fryers, on whatever you have on there. And it needs to be checked every 3 or 6 months. I forget which one. I think it's 6. And then each town in New Jersey has a different fire department that comes out and checks it at events that you have to pay. There's not like one whole
for the state,
which it should because the state also has their own thing. So all like the Trenton, all the capital areas uses Trenton, and they use like this online thing. They need to just come together as a state and be like, listen, because everyone's different too. Like Voorhees, they're $100 every time you go into their town to vend, whereas Pennsauken, it's like $125 for the year, and then most towns are like $54 per event. But like it's also really a lot of paperwork to keep up with when I have so many events and they're all in so many different towns and all the rules are different.
It's like you're doing 4 different things for every
event.
It's
like Washington Township. I must have called those poor people like 4 times like, hey, do I need to get a fire permit? They're like, Meg, you already have one for the year. But yet Glassboro, you need one every time you go. So like
I'll be like, fucking be sensitive, bro. Understand that y'all saying this, but when I go next door to fucking Cherry Hill, you know what I'm saying? Be fucking sensitive, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. Listen. This question may or may not make you feel on the spot, but I'm asking it specifically after you said that you use like ingredients that can be used in other foods, right?
Yeah.
Since you've started your business, has food become an artistry rather than a job? So you know how there's like the Gordon Ramsays who fucking put like
the garnishes.
You know what I'm saying? They make it look all nice, and it's like $1 million for like a piece of steak or something. But like, are you the kind of person that's like, you make food and like you're like, And then you call in Josh to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you one of them, bro? You like, listen, we gonna put this bitch together. We gonna throw the sauce on top. We gonna close it. And then
it depends on where I'm cooking. On the food trucks, I have a whole list of what everything should look like, what everything should be garnished with, just because I have so many different people working on and off that like everyone needs to know what it's supposed to look like. So like I do care what the food looks like going out the window. Cooking so much on the food trucks has unmotivated me sometimes to cook at home. Like in my busy season, I have DoorDash on like fucking like speed dial. Yeah. But I also love to cook at home. Like when I'm slower and now that I have more staff that can be at events and I don't have to be at as many, I love to like sit back, like look up a recipe on Google for whatever ingredients I have and figure out how to like either make it my own or like recreate it. Yeah. And I will be that person that goes and spends $1 million on a piece of steak at a restaurant. I know it sounds weird, but like I feel like if I can cook, right? I don't want to go to a restaurant where I can cook something myself this good. Like I want to go somewhere where I can't touch what they made. Okay. I'm going to ask you to look in the mirror for a second. All right? I'm going to ask you to look in the mirror for a second, and there's nobody else in this room but you. There's no one else in this room but you. Do the $50 steak taste really different from the $100 steak? So when you say you want, like, you'll pay the extra dollar, like the money for the great food, right? Yeah. It's like, damn, like I just had a steak round the way yesterday, and this shit was way cheaper. That's a good point.
It tastes exactly the same. Like that's my thing.
I think I'm paying for the experience. Okay, so did you ever have the Open Table app?
No. What is that?
Okay. Clearly, you're not a fucking foodie. Come on. The
sure.
Open Table app is just like a restaurant reservation app. So, like, you take your girl out to Philly, and you know Philly restaurants fill up quickly. You download the app, and you can just make a reservation. Okay. Well, there's this tab called Experiences, and you click it, and it shows you what restaurants are giving different experiences. Where, like, for example, did you ever hear of a tasting menu? No,
I've never heard of a tasting menu.
Yeah, he lives in Philly.
He's more of a foodie than I am, though.
Okay, so
I'm probably the lowest.
Are you picky?
Kinda, but I also eat a lot of foods too, though. Like, it's weird.
Well, you need to do a tasting menu. So what it is you show up, and it depends on like the length of it. We've done ones that are like 12 courses, but there's ones that are like 3 courses, and you don't pick anything. The chef picks it for you, and he creates a dish like. Usually an appetizer, maybe another small plate, an entree, a dessert, and it's just whatever they want to give you. And it's...
Okay, first round of questions.
Okay.
Is this a restaurant setting?
Yes.
Okay, so if he's sitting at that table, he might get something totally different than what I get.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can't request what he got.
No. You sign up.
Like
it's literally a mystery for the night. Sometimes they'll tell you what's on it, or usually it's like super like limited descriptions. And then when it comes out, you're like... And then they usually describe what it is. Sometimes you can get wine pairings with each course, or it is so...
This sounds like a $4 million night.
No. It doesn't have to be. Okay. Some of them are cheap, but some of them are. Like there's this one in Princeton, actually. It's called Elements, and it was a 12-course tasting menu. It was the longest I've ever taken to eat any meal. It might have took us like 2.5, 3 hours. It was insane. And I also like had a cold, so by the end of the night, you know how when you're sick, you can't really smell at the end of the night? Yeah. I couldn't smell at the end of the last 4 courses, and I was like trying to blow my nose to taste the food. But regardless, it was amazing. The presentation, you watch them cook it like in front of you, like, oh my God. It was so cool. It's just something else to do, you know?
Listen, when you say experience, right? Like
it's an experience.
I'm like, all right, let's go to fucking Europe. Experience.
Okay, but you can't go to Europe every day or every weekend.
But hear me out. I got a lot of questions, first of all. The first of which is, are you leaving this place full? Like, are you leaving this place like you just ate a dinner and you're like, I'm good?
Yeah, I feel like you'd be surprised like what actual serving sizes we should be eating, because they also space them correctly, where like you might get a little fuller because you waited for your entree after eating it's very like, I think it's filling. Yeah. Okay. I think there's only maybe a handful that maybe they were only like a small tasting menu that we were hungry after. But for the most part, like they really...
Okay, the one you went to was 12, right?
Let me tell you about this one in Georgia real quick that I went to.
Yes, I got
Oh my God, it was so cool. Yeah. It was called Georgia Boy, I believe. And I just found it open. Every time I go anywhere, because when we were in Miami for my birthday, it was a layover flight. We were supposed to go to St. Lucia, St. Lucia, my bad, St. Lucia, but our COVID
fancy
test didn't come in from CVS in time, so we had to reroute the plane to Miami to go. It was a whole thing, but we ended up being in Miami for the night, and I also did the open table thing, found experience.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Georgia. So we
snack.
get in there, and they take us to this back room, and there's like probably like a room for like 4 couples, and we're sit down, and the other couples come in, and then the server comes in, and she starts to tell us about the restaurant and everything, and then she makes us solve a riddle, right? And the riddle was like, we had to guess some book title, and then we had to find the book title on the wall, and then you found the book, you opened it, and it opened this secret door. And then you walk in, and there's this whole kitchen set up, like test kitchen. So you can see what everybody's doing, the chefs, everything. And there's these 2 long wooden tables that all the couples are sitting at. And then dinner service starts, and they just start taking out all these little trays and trying this and pairing it with this. And then you got to know the couple sitting next to you that you never met before. It was just such a cool experience.
All right, what's the damage on that?
That
sounds fun. What's the damage on that?
What was it, like $500? But it was only $500 because we got 2 liquor pairings with it. So if it wasn't that much, I believe it would have been like 300. But it's also like a 10-course menu.
All right, that feels very.
Yeah, it's definitely. Good. I suggest anyone to try it once in their life. It's just good. Such a cool. Not if you're picky though.
$500 for 2 people. You had the liquor with it. You doing fun James Bond shit out the wall. You might be able to do that. That's a good.
And I feel
job.
like it expands your horizon because like you're not gonna go to TGI Fridays and get some hot shit cooked for you.
But the second he come out with something with mayonnaise on it, I'm gonna be tight. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh,
you're not even gonna know it's mayonnaise. We had bacon, cotton candy, in one of the dishes.
What was the most disgusting thing you've ever gotten in that place?
I don't think I like. I think it's like dorsal fin, like shark dorsal fin or some shit like that. It was nasty. Yeah. Oh, I'm not a huge fan. I don't get the hype on caviar. I think it's just
little tiny little.
Yeah, but I don't get the hype. Why is it so expensive? Yeah. It doesn't even taste that good.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's like texture.
Yeah.
It's more texture.
Yeah, and I'm not like a bad texture person, but I'm just like, I'm not paying that much for fish eggs. I already had it, been there, done. And that's what you can do too. Like, you get all these experiences with things that people think are like, oh, all that, and then you already ate it because you're tasting that you did on open table the other night, and you're like, that's not even that good.
Yeah. I think I'm more grossed out by smaller things. So like, if you say I'm gonna give you a shark's asshole, I might eat it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh fuck it, yeah, let's eat a shark's asshole. But if you said like, yo, there's mayonnaise on this, I'd be like, no.
Okay.
Like, absolutely not.
Well,
I'm the type like
I have a recipe though I need to cook for you because you don't like mayonnaise, but like. This chicken dish that I made.
Nah, you fucked. Listen, I'm gonna tell you already. You fucked up because you told me it's in it. So even if I never would have known.
Hates mayonnaise, and he made this chicken for himself because he liked it that much.
Listen,
you gotta. It's my grandma's recipe.
I think your best shot was not saying what was in it, and then afterwards telling me, because now that I know, even if I never even would have tasted it, it's like I know mayonnaise is in that, bro, and I'm not eating mayonnaise.
I can substitute ranch instead.
All right, we can talk now.
Okay.
We can talk now. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm telling you. But I'm in control of how it's made.
Okay. So, all right. But you're good already because you put the possibility of ranch.
Okay.
So now in my head, I'm like, okay, it could be ranch, and now I'm good.
Okay.
But once you solidify that is mayonnaise, bro, it's off the table. Like, I'm the type when they put it on the bread, like on a burger, and they accidentally put it on, like the whole, you can't eat the burger. Yeah, like the whole shit is
gone. What's wrong with mayonnaise? Like, what don't you like about it? You don't like it either?
I think it's the taste, because kind of lack thereof. It's kind of like a bland kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it looks gross. Like, I think like the taste combined with the texture and the way it looks, I'm just like, no.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people that.
Yeah.
So what changed for you?
Yeah. You fucking thought about it one day. You were like, absolutely not. What is this? Like, bro. No mayonnaise.
I don't even use mayonnaise on the trucks. People be asking me for like little stuff, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, like we don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have hot sauce. I used to, but then I was like, we have buffalo sauce. It's close.
You don't got hot sauce?
No. That's an added cost that I don't need.
Do you make halal?
No.
Okay.
No. But the guy at Cooper River, Mike, who sits there, his shit is fire.
Fire.
He's like not the friendliest sometimes, but like his food is good.
Okay. I could deal with that.
You guys gotta
Shitty
try
customer
that.
service, but like quality food.
He's been screwed over a lot though. He's also from, he's a whole backstory. We're like friends now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately sometimes. Because sometimes I just want his food and I don't want an hour conversation.
You just want to be a customer. You just want to.
Sometimes I'd be sending Josh because I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I really want his food, but I don't want to
Josh
talk
was like, I like
to
him. I don't know. Wait, this actually segues into my next question though, actually, because I'm always curious to hear about people's industries and then what the proper etiquette is in those industries.
I love
right?
that. I
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
Because like you don't know how to like. So for example, what kind of got me the most kind of like interested was like. I don't know if you've ever been to like a studio session where somebody's like making music.
I haven't.
It's a very if you're not close with that person, it's kind of nerve wracking because you're kind of like, it's kind of like coming into someone's space and you don't know how to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can talk. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, I would be quiet the whole time.
Exactly.
Just
It's
out
kind
of
of like a
caution.
thing, right? So then I started paying attention and asking like, yo, what is the right etiquette in these rooms? Like what, you know what I'm saying? What you
Yeah.
do?
I think this is very important to ask in general.
Yeah, it's just like an awareness thing. Like
Yeah.
you should know. So, all right. So I want to know about proper, not only etiquette on the truck in terms of like you and your employees, but also guest etiquette. What are some things that guests do that you're
piss
like,
me off or that are good?
yeah, that piss you off? We don't want to hear
When
the
they
good
don't
stuff.
tip.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like some people don't think they should tip a food truck, but like my staff works with tips. Like they get tips.
Yeah.
So like that kind of makes me mad.
Huh.
But what else? Oh, when they're up my ass about their order and they think that because I got a back window, they can just come on beep bop around and ask
check
me.
on it
Yeah, and I'm like, would you do this in a real kitchen? No, then go. Like, get. Oh my God, I so many customers, Jamie knows, so many customers that would come around. And that's part of the reason why I got rid of my one. I used to do flatbreads, but they take forever. They're fire, but they take forever. Like turnover time was trash.
Yeah.
So I got rid of them. But
Because of you having what you had to do to the bread, you mean?
yeah,
So,
like I
okay.
had to like put it in twice, melt the cheese. It was doing a lot. And like time is of the essence on the trucks. Like you need to get people's food out quickly. And we have a huge menu, so like they could go. But I hate when people poke their heads around back and be like, "Oh, when's my food ready? Did you call my name?" Like, no, don't do that. And another thing is when people like don't remember their names or like tell us a wrong name for their order. And somebody else takes their food when you're clearly not, like, you're not going to pick up Caitlin's order.
Yeah.
But, like, you will pick up Caitlin's order if you're an idiot. You know, like, people do, and then it messes up the whole ticket flow, and I have to remake that item, and that's annoying. When people bitch about, like, surcharges on credit cards, like, they're like, oh, really? $1? I'm like, is $1 going to kill you?
I got a question. Wait. I heard about this too. Somebody told me. They said when a place charges you extra for using your card, that is bullshit, and you should pull their card and say, "Don't fucking charge me extra." Is that true?
I technically think that it might be illegal.
Really?
I'm so serious. Like,
Well,
I
is it if you
heard-
make the rules? Not really. If it's your
That's
place.
what I'm saying too. Like, cause I see so many people do it that when I heard that rumor, I was like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, like I'm paying fees to provide you a credit card
Right.
service. They take like 1% out of each transaction, and it depends on how you do the card. Cause I have this machine that you can either tap it, insert it, swipe it.
Yeah.
If I manually enter it, it takes more money from the transaction than swiping it. It's weird.
I want to be clear. Even though I've heard that, I've never had the balls to try it.
Don't
So
do
whenever
it.
they just
Don't
upcharge
do it. You're rude if you do it.
It's a spot next to my school that's like a bodega, and if you're paying Apple Pay, they upcharge it 50 cents. And every day I'm like, I don't have the balls to say something.
Don't.
And every day it crosses my mind. Like every day I'm like,
Well, then start bringing cash if
and
you
I'm
know
just
that.
like, why? It's 2023.
But does 2023 credit card people stop charging us to use their stuff?
No. I don't think I'm that passionate about it more than somebody said it, and I never stopped thinking about it. Like
But
I was like, yo, are they?
But
getting
now,
us
like,
into?
do you have a new perspective from me saying, like, as a business owner, I'm being charged for
No,
that?
I totally understood. I think I understood initially why it was anyway. I think it's just when
Oh.
somebody tells you something that's kind of like, yo, you know, you don't have to like, and then you're like,
Well, like, to be honest, like, if I like somebody or if I know that they come to the truck often, I'll be like,
don't worry about it. Type shit.
yeah. But when you're at a festival with a bunch of people that I'm like,
yeah, you have to pay that. Bread.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Or if
okay.
you're going to put a big, like, $4,000 swipe, then it's 3.5% that I'm charging you. Because they take even more from me for that.
Yeah. But that's a big purchase though, so
Yeah.
that should be fine.
Yeah. But what else annoys me?
What about?
Oh, when people tell me what I should make on my food truck. Like, bitch, if you got ideas, go make your own truck. Like, you don't think you
never thought about putting chicken tenders on here?
Yeah. Oh, you know what you should do? What should I do, sir?
Yeah.
My 20+ item menu isn't good enough for you. What should I do? That annoys me.
I think it's also worth mentioning, or I guess to the consumer who doesn't know, but like it's worth thinking about, like it's a food truck, right? So like you're probably thinking like I walk into a restaurant and say, can you pull together that item, and make me this? And they're like, sure. But like it's a food truck, bro. It's this by this.
Yeah,
like,
and we're like different than other
big.
food trucks. Like we usually cater to what the customer wants. Like we'll make modifications, all that stuff. But like some people really be extra with it. Like, can I have like nachos with no cheese? Why are you ordering nachos?
So just
that
chips.
is the whole base of the dish.
Yeah,
like there's so
chips.
many other things. Like, oh, it's funny. People are, for the most part, I get a lot of good customers. But but there's some people that are just like rude. Yeah. Like. All right. Very rude.
Can I make an order real quick, and you tell me when it got ridiculous.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna see like what your patience is. All right. Hey Meg, such a long day at work. How you doing? I'm gonna order the nachos.
Okay.
I'm gonna order the nachos. But do me a favor. Can you no olives in the nachos. No olives. And then I really like when you put peppers in your nachos.
Depends on which one, but
okay. I would like the peppers to be on the to the left a little bit, just because of the way I eat it.
You just want me to put it on the side for you, so you can do it. I can put it on the side for you.
Oh no! You know what? Like, I thought. Oh, I'm sorry. What's the name? This is Brad's roll. Oh, I thought this was a place where the customer's always right. Sorry. No, you know what? Don't even worry about the nachos. Don't even worry about it. Okay, don't even worry about it. Sorry. Didn't mean to hassle you.
Well, if it's easier for you, I just want to put it on the side. So like.
All right, fine. Put the peppers on the side.
Okay. Do you want the dip on the side so your chips don't get soggy?
Nah, can you put half of the dip in there and then half on the side? Can you do that? Like take the normal amount that you would do, right? Divide it in half. Put half of it on it and half of it on the side. Can you do that?
If that's what you want.
Okay, thank you so much. And then I'll just have the.
You want chicken, steak, or pork?
Let's do all three.
Okay, that's going to be $1 extra
for each one. That's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
But I want you to portion it the way you would, right?
I will. I'm charging you $1. I got you.
You know what I mean? Okay. That's all. You got me?
I got you.
All right, bet.
But like, I do have people be like, so he doesn't like onions, so like, can you just put it on my half? And I'll be like, you want it on the side? Because if it gets mixed in there, it gets mixed in there, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever caused somebody allergic reaction?
Actually, apparently almost. Okay, so I drove all the way to Wildwood for an event, and I hate going down the shore with the trucks because they just don't, it's a hike. Yeah. We had to stay the night, and it was the Wildwood Anglesey night market. It was my first time there, and it was okay, but like for the drive, I could have stayed out here and made the same amount of money after the fees, the hotel, everything. But we had a line. It was insanely, crazy busy, and my one worker showed up a little late, and I just switched the menus out. I have the other side has the menu, but I have like this set menu that stays in there. I decided to take out the peppers and onions from the South Philly, but I forgot that I decided to do that. So I put peppers and onions on this lady's steak, and then we get her out the window. She comes back, and I lie to you not, this is exactly how she came back. She cut the line. She slammed the sandwich on my serving window. She was like, "This has fucking peppers in it." And I'm cooking, and I just break my neck because I'm like, there is no way somebody is talking to my window person like this. Yeah. So I turn my head, and I'm like, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "There's fucking peppers in this. I'm allergic. I could have died." And in my head, I'm like, "Well, did you? You didn't. So can we fucking take it down a couple notches?" But in actual person, I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. Like, it says that there's peppers and onions on the menu because I thought there was last week." Yeah. And then she was like, "It doesn't say that anywhere in there." And then like she read it and it didn't. And I was like, "Fuck, she's right." Yeah, and I hate when they're right and they're like bitches. So I'm like, "Damn it." So I was like, "Okay, well, let's solve the problem here. Do you want your money back or you want a new sandwich? Because I have a line and we need to get things rolling." "Well, I'm hungry." So I said, "So you want another sandwich?" "Yeah." "All right, I'll make you another sandwich." Say that, yeah. Like, bitch, come on. Like, don't make a whole scene. You're still not getting your money back. You know, like, that's the last thing I do for people. Unless I'm super, super busy and someone really pisses me off. And I'm like, "You see all these people? You think your $14 matters to me, bro? Take it and leave. Just get out of my way." And everyone, there's always like, everyone that sees stuff like this in the crowd always feels hella bad and then tips everyone so much better. Like, because like they were the asshole.
So that's a marketing tactic for you.
Yeah, a little bit. But also like, you don't want to be that truck where like everyone's like, "Oh, they don't make my shit right either." But it doesn't ever really happen like that.
Word.
But there is a lot that goes on in the truck. So if your order is messed up, politely say something, but don't be a dick about it, because like you don't even know how much is like your ticket order. There's about 10 other ones in front of you. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been to like Food Truck Fest and how busy the trucks get, but they get lines. Like we can feed 200 people in a night. Like, so if you're going to ask me all these modifications or whatever, or ask for what's on the menu item and I mess it up myself, like, it is what it is, you know, like, things happen. Like, we're all human. Whereas, you know, you go to a restaurant, there's a whole team of, like, 10 people back there. There's usually, the max I'll put on a food truck is 4 to 5 people. Yeah. This one, so small, only 3. Yeah. So, like, come on.
Do you agree that it's character telling to see how someone treats a waiter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, every time I was dating people, like, before I met Josh. Yeah.
Before lovely Josh.
Before lovely Josh. I would always peep that.
Yeah.
Always. Because especially being in the industry myself. And then I always overtip. Always.
I feel like, for some reason, I never had to be told to be nice to the waiter.
Well, your mama raised you well then.
Probably, I guess. But I just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just,
I
like,
mean, if
why
you have
would you
manners,
be
you have manners. But I feel like a lot of older people don't know how to act around service people. Yeah, I don't get it.
The communication barrier is hard.
Yeah, but even just how you treat them in general, like, sometimes, and you know what's crazy? I love my mom, and we worked on this, so this isn't me talking shit.
We worked on this.
She's better now. But there was times when we would be going out to the restaurant, and she just acted so entitled. Like, she would act like, as if, like, they should be waiting on her hand and foot, like, as if she was her only customer in the entire restaurant. And I'd be like, if you keep acting like this, I am leaving right now. I'm not, no. You know, like, that was frustrating. And a lot of older people are like that, excuse me.
No.
But I don't have patience for those type of people, though. I had this one old man, I was at the car show, Pennsauken car show. And he came up, and he was old, probably 70s. And I had so many specials that day, too, because I had it was like the last event of the week, so I had to get rid of a lot of stuff. And he's like, well, what do you guys have? And I have, like, a whole menu out there, 4 other small menus. And I'm like, sir, there's a lot for me to tell you. Like, you kind of have to look. Yeah. He's like, well, I don't really want to look, so can you just tell me? I was like, all right. So I start, like, rambling off what we have.
I'm assuming right here is, like, he talking to you, and the menu was like...
Yeah, literally.
Right.
Yep, right there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, all right, we have this, this, and this. And then he wanted the burger and fry special. I think I had it at $12 or $14 or something. I forget what it was. And I was like, okay, well, do you want this, this, and this on it? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, that's going to be $15. And he's like, $15? I was like, well, it comes with fries. You're getting burger and a fry. Well, that's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how you price your stuff, but I said, I mean, you don't have to eat here.
Yeah, right. Like,
I literally said that point. I was like, you don't have to eat here. Yeah. He's like, I don't have to eat here, as if I just slapped him in the face. And I was like, no, you have options, bro. Like, if you don't like this price.
Like, I'm actually just stating the obvious.
Yes, and then he walked away. And what was I supposed to cry because he walked away? Like, no one wants your old corny
I wonder how much of that is a tactic.
For people to try and get discounts?
Correct. Because I feel like when you walk in certain places, you know, like, you don't say that when you go to fucking
That's what I'm saying.
The 12 menu course place.
Or even
like,
where the burger place, even that place you wouldn't do that in.
Yeah, like, you know what, like, you kind of are walking into.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I gotta pay this much. Like,
I even like little things, like, okay, I had this event. It was in Burlington City. I didn't work it. I had staff working it. And I got an email a week after the event, right, of somebody saying how they don't really like the taco salad. They don't really like, I use, like, roasted chicken breast, and it's pulled, and that's what we put in it. Mind you, my taco salad is popping. Like, everyone loves it. Yeah. So she just, like, sent me this email saying how she hated it, how, like, we had to pull out the leaves and make our own salad, just dragging it on. Yeah. I would love to know who taste tests the menu for the public. Like, she got deep into it, and I was like, damn. So then I responded back. Like, I've gotten so good at responding to customers now, though. Like, before I used to be, like, a little unprofessional with it, but now I'm just, like, I'm so good at professionally killing them that it's, like, like, fun, you know? Yeah. So then I was like, I'm sorry, taste is subjective, so you are entitled to your opinion. However, I did just feed over 100 taco salads to an Amazon warehouse full of workers that it was their favorite item. So I will not be changing the recipe of my salad. And hopefully when you come back to the truck, you can find an item that will really suit your taste. Thank you for your business.
She was like,
literally.
I thought this is just like random, but think about it. I always now I try to use it. Somebody said whenever you want to say something spicy to somebody, like you really want to say like you got that shit really. Think of how you would feel if they did not respond to you,
Ooh.
and then decide if you want to say it.
Ooh.
So like when you want to be like.
Yeah,
right?
I like that.
How would you feel if they like almost like looked at you and and just like ignored you and walked away? Like,
Yeah.
would you still feel like you needed to say what you said, or is it just you being like?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes I do feel like I need to defend myself. You know, another issue with food trucks, this is why I expanded so quickly, was because when I had one, there were so many events to choose from, and it was like a big old gamble. Unless it was catering, I didn't know if it was going to be good or not, you know, because I was first starting out. I didn't do them before. So like after a while, I'm like, damn, like I need another truck because I'm giving up money opportunities. Like I have all these other events I could be doing.
Oh, because you don't know if it's lucrative or not.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Wow.
So I was like, damn, like my this truck's already, you know, booked for the weekend. But if I had a second truck, I could have double the amount of events. So it was very hard to commit early to things. So like people would hit me up in January for an event in June. Now that I'm in the business, I know not to book stuff that early because I get a lot of graduation catering and stuff in June. So now I know, but before, like I didn't. So I told this one school, they wanted me to come do something where I was giving money back to them from my sales. I had gotten triple catering on the date that they wanted my food truck there, so I couldn't do it anymore. Now, mind you, yes, I said yes back in February, but there was no contracts. It was just word of mouth, and it was email. There was like a month and a half time frame that I gave them to replace me. So it wasn't like it was like that week and I was like, listen, I can't come anymore. You know, I tried and avoid doing that because I know how it pisses organizers off and I don't want to have bad business. So I gave them a month and a half to replace me. This lady's in my email like, not only did I give them a month and a half to replace me, I gave them a list of trucks and personal phone numbers for them to reach out to replace me. So I feel like I did more than enough of what I needed to do. Mind you, she also claims to be a small business owner herself, right? So then she's like, this is just completely unprofessional of you. I can't believe you would do this so last minute, blah, blah, blah. Like, I should do some review online or whatever. And I was like, listen, I'm giving you a month and a half to replace me. I gave you a list of people. This is not last minute. And I'm replacing your event that you want to give me. I need to give you my money for this event. Yeah. I'm replacing it with catering. And as a small business owner, you should understand why I'm choosing this event over your event. Yeah. And if you don't, that's on you.
Bro, I had somebody tell me, I ain't gonna say their name. They wanted me to do spoken word at their event or whatever. And it was at a time where I was very far removed. Like I kind of had put it behind me already. Like it kind of was like, and they kind of asked me and I was kind of like, oh, I'll do it. Like, yeah. Didn't sign anything, kind of similar situation. Like, didn't sign anything. It was very far out. And then as the date approached, I would say like within a month. Like there was a month between then and I think, if I'm recalling it right, I don't know if that detail is correct. But there was enough time for her like to replace me. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I know we agreed to this, but this is kind of the current situation. And like, and I gave her a poet who was better than me. Like, and I was like, and I reached out to him first to make sure he could do it because I knew I was kind of
okay, and that's even better.
Right. So I kind of hit him. I was like, bro, listen, I got this event that I'm doing. Like, I'm supposed to do it, but I was like, bro, I know you got the content for it. Like, do you want to do it? He was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, bet. So then I went to her with a solution. Like, okay, listen, this is the situation, but if you're worried about it, I got a poet already who already said he'll do it. He's better than me anyway. So like, he's already going to, you know what I'm saying? Bro, she like got mad, bro. And like to this day, like it's kind of like we don't speak. And it's like,
I feel like people just want to be mad.
Not only that, like, this is my thing. I understand you could be upset about your plan not going the way you want because that happens. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, unless you sign something, you are not binding to it, which is like a good thing and a bad thing when you're the one trying to do the business. But when you, like, in your situation, like, when I go out of the way to then replace me so that you don't have to take the loss, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can pay him what you was going to pay me. You can pay him less, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
But clearly we have good intentions if we already try to replace ourselves. And you know what makes matters worse for that situation? I forgot about this. Yeah. A month after the event went down, right, she had gotten somebody that I suggested to replace her because there was a Facebook post that there's like the South Jersey food scene page on Facebook. Shout out to Marilyn because she really made that shit blow up. Like,
shout out Marilyn.
Huge. Yeah. And somebody asked for food truck recommendations and somebody tagged me. And this lady, the same lady, goes under that person's tag of me and says, I cannot recommend this food truck. She canceled on us last minute, but I can recommend these trucks that were there. The trucks I gave her. And I'm like, this motherfucker. So now I'm like boiling. I just want to blow her shit up. I want to send screenshots. I want to do everything. So then I literally, all I say is, that's funny. And I pretty much was just like, I gave you that truck to replace me a month and a half ahead of time, but okay.
Yeah.
But in my head, I wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, your event went off fine without a hitch. Nothing went wrong. You had trucks there. Why am I still in your mind?
Yeah. Like, you didn't have to say that. You
Yes.
could have just,
It's like, that is a hater.
Yeah.
That is a motherfucking hater.
Yeah.
And you think, like, because I don't have, like, I have a very good balance in my life where, like, I don't really have that many people that I beef with.
Yeah.
Like, in this point in my life, like, I don't.
Yeah.
So it'd be my customers sometimes, or it'd be the people that, like, that really just get me.
Yeah. But the benefit is, I don't want to say the benefit, because it's not always a benefit. I guess the benefit in this case is that it's not someone who's close to you. So it's like kind of like somebody who you can kind of choose not to, like.
But you also always have to remember that your business is on the line.
Right.
That's the hardest part.
That's why, it's good and it's bad. Like,
because like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple of them that have been worth it.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta talk your shit, man. You gotta say what you gotta say. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta do that. That's what it is. So one of my final questions I have for you is, being in this business, do you or have you noticed other establishments, chains, mom and pops, whatever, who do it? When I say it, I mean restauranting the right way versus the not right way. So, like, for example, you could be like, oh, Red Lobster's model fucking sucks, but Olive Garden's, you know what I'm saying, or like whatever.
That's interesting. I feel like I
you just been doing your own shit.
No, nobody really like tells each other the in depth of how they do things, because everyone's food's different, everyone's cooking methods are different.
Yeah.
I feel like we have this chat. Actually, me and a barbecue truck started it. It's like the South Jersey Food Truck Association, we call ourselves, but it's just a channel on Instagram where we like compare events with each other, or we say, hey, like this fire marshal's like this type of person, like, you know, like it's cool. It's a nice group to have. But I've just been trying to perfect mine for so long, but now that I feel like I already have it down pat, because I was a little intimidated to start the second truck because I never dealt with fryers before, so that was a whole nother adventure, and it's literally double the size of this truck, so just driving and everything too was different. I was low-key forced to do it because the year I got Reds 2, this truck needed 2 motors put in. I got a motor put in, it died. The motor died. It's also 1982. So the motor died, and it was right before I got super busy. May is insane for me. So I had to literally just learn the new truck because I was beat. I had no other truck. So I learned that truck that month, and it was like, oh wow, like this made getting the third truck like a no-brainer. Like, because once I figured this truck out, I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly how the third one's gonna go. Like, it was honestly like, it was like God being like, look, girl, like, you need to learn this truck. So I took away the other one, and then I feel like I was getting tested again because as soon as I got this motor put in, which isn't cheap.
Yeah, it don't sound cheap.
One of my staff overheated it and didn't know because there was a gauge in there that was broken. Nothing works on any of my trucks, by the way. Like, we can't tell the gas in any of them. We have a gas log. Like, nothing works, and apparently it's just the models I got or whatever. But like it's annoying. But this gauge didn't work, so she didn't know that she was overheating it. So she ruined the new motor, and the warranty didn't cover it because it was self-inflicted. So I had to pay for another motor.
Bro.
And like, the amount of times this truck, one time I started it to go to a catering event, there was gas just pouring out of the bottom of it, and I'm like,
the gas that you put in the to fill it.
There was a hole in my gas tank and I didn't know. Apparently, like, it scraped on something or whatever, pouring out in my driveway.
I'm assuming there's also fire hazards of things on here.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if one of your coworkers just like sparked a cigarette, you'd be like,
well, so no. It shouldn't. If that, my earring. If that happens, then it could, but you need to get like your propane tanks checked regularly. There's a bunch of shit that goes on with that. But one time, I had my new truck, and I was getting the instruments switched out. Like, there was a charbroil, but I wanted another flat top. Yeah. So one of the propane lines were disconnected. But each instrument had its own shutoff valve. So it was honestly my fault for entrusting this into a 15-year-old. I had this kid that he's like my heart. Like, he's my neighbor, and I love him, but he's like a troubled child, so I just bring him along with me a lot.
Yeah.
And I told him to go turn off the propane. Well, he turned on
All of them.
the one valve that was not connected to anything. So propane was pouring out. And I was like, I hear this squeal. I'm like, what is that sound? And it's like, ee! And I'm like, what is that sound? And I smell it. I have a very strong nose. I can even smell like before a propane tank's gonna run out, like that it's gonna run out at this point. And I'm like, what is that smell? There's propane somewhere. And then somehow a fire was lit. And I'm like, and then I don't even remember what happened, but the fire was out and everything was fixed. But that was almost our lives. Yeah. It was insane. I was shaking. I was like this for like the next 2 days if I was around my trucks. Like, you got to check. You got to be on your P's and Q's. And that's why it's important, like, the people that I hire to cook and drive, like, just aren't idiots. I need people that are, like, respectable. I'm so thankful for who I have. Like, Jewel, Vinny, they're just, they pay attention to detail. And, like, yeah, there's, like, normal things that happen, like, where employees, like, make you annoyed. But, I'm thankful for everything that they do for me.
They're well-intentioned.
Yeah, they're well-intentioned, exactly. Like, and, like, I wouldn't be where I am today without them. Like, even, like, my roommate and friend, Jamie, like, she'll roast my meats every week, which is in itself a huge job. Like, I roast over 200 pounds of meat a week. Yeah.
Says how that small, it's not small, but like that small thing in the grand scheme of things is like.
Yeah, but I was doing all this myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's another thing, like, I really came, like, this truck, I used to run this truck myself. I used to be in the window myself, cooking myself, run events by myself, Restaurant Depot trips alone, like, everything I did on my own. So, like, when people, like, complain to me about being tired from their job, or I have no type of sympathy whatsoever for absolutely anybody. There were days that I would come home to my apartment so exhausted from working doubles on this truck that I was disgusting, covered in food. I couldn't even shower. I would just fall asleep. You know, like, knowing I would have to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to the bank to get changed before this event because I ran out the night before. Like, there's so much. This is really a grind. Like, this is not for the lighthearted, this business. That's why, like, I'm glad where I am now, whereas, like, I don't have to be on the trucks as much because I can solely focus on more administrative things, because that's a whole job in itself. Like, the schedule that I post every week and the schedule I put out to my staff every week, the advertising. I got a billboard this year because
super tough.
I did a catering event for an ad company out in PA, and they gave me a deal on a billboard out here right on Route 38, that electric one.
That's tough.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, because my clientele is older
That
people.
new one. That's
where all the plants died on it, because I don't know what the hell they were doing with that, but all the plants are dead. But, like, my clientele are older people that have money to spend. Like, I don't really care about, like, young kids and TikToks. And it's cool if I would get TikTok famous. I'm sure it would be cool. But, like, I don't got the time to do TikTok. And I also, that's not my clientele. It's really not. I don't care if you're going to come spend $14 because you think TikTok said my food's hype. I want the old man who's going to spend $4,000 on his twin daughter's graduation party. It's the clientele that you want. Like, I was at the bar with Lorraine. You remember Lorraine Velez? She played basketball?
For sure.
I was at the Victors with her in Camden.
Shout out Lorraine.
Shout out Rainey. That's my other best friend. She, we were at the Victor one night, and there was, like, a work party going on for Campbell's Soup, the factory down there in Camden. And me and this one lady connected. She was, like, the only lady and a bunch of men, but she was in a big position there. And we were just, like, vibing, and I was like, like, if you ever need a food truck, like, and this was months ago. She just hit me up for a 300-person event. Well, she passed my card to someone in Campbell's, hit me up for a 300-person event. So, like, I feel like you have to be your biggest advocate. You have to tell your business everywhere with everyone. You know, like, it's a hustle wherever you are.
I want to ask this for someone who is starting their journey, whatever it is, in the restaurant industry and music and anything, right? If I asked you one thing that a motto or something that you've encompassed and stood on and lived by since you started this journey, something that still to this day is what you live by, not something that just got you somewhere and it's like you kind of abandon it, right? Like something that, like I said, it could be a motto, it could be a prayer, it could be a, whatever. What is one thing that you would say has gotten you this far and will continue to take you where you're going, if you had to tell it to someone who is trying to follow their own passions?
I feel like I have two things. The first one is you need to be prepared for the lows and the highs. Like, it's not all going to be smooth sailing. And when that first low comes and you can't get over it, that might not be for you then, because you're going to consistently face them. Even when you think you're at the top peer of your business, there's something that's going to come. It's going to be easier to deal with it the older you get, but you're always going to have those lows and those highs. And like, you can't be afraid of them, because if you are, then you might as well just keep punching that clock, because you're a problem solver. As an entrepreneur in whatever field, you are a problem solver. And if you cannot solve problems and you need other people to do it for you, then it's not for you, because I can't look to anyone and be like, help. I'm got to look at me and be like, help. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get through this? What's next? The second thing is, don't be okay with mediocrity. Like, if you're going to do something, do it. Like, go hard and be the best. Expand as quick as you can. Like, call those people that you didn't think would hear you out. Like, take a leap on yourself and like be your biggest advocate, because why do something if someone's going to do it better than you, number one? And why do something if you're not going to give it your all? Like, for what? You're just wasting everyone's time and your own time. Like, if you're on the edge of something, take the leap, because going back to my whole theme here of like time is important. Like, we really don't have that much time on this earth. Like, there's been a lot of young deaths I feel like I've seen recently, and like they started to hit home. Like, that didn't really scare me for a while there, but like now that I'm like, I have stuff going that I need to see through, and like I have other plans and whatnot, like I'm not ready to go. So like, I'm trying to make sure that my time here on this earth is spent the way I want it to be spent, with who I want it to be spent, doing what I want to do. And yeah, there's going to be things that you have to do that you don't want to do. Like, I don't want to go to Restaurant Depot every Wednesday, and I don't want to, do dishes after events, but you got to look past that, because in the grand scheme of things, all those small things are building you into doing something bigger and better, and like getting you where you want to be,
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So might I ask, what is on the horizon? What is next for Red's Rolling Restaurant? What is
definitely not a brick and mortar.
Okay.
I don't want a restaurant.
No, okay.
No, I like the ability to roll out the driveway whenever we want. Like, I don't want to have to be consistently open Monday through Friday or Saturday, because that's just the whole time thing for me. Like, I don't want to be somewhere every day. So I don't even think I would want a fourth truck. If I do, it'll probably be like a dessert themed, like something less involved than this. But I think my next goal would be, I'm interested in a brewery right now. I might be doing something with a brewery or real estate. I want to start purchasing properties. Like, this property I live in right now, like, I'm already getting renters in here, and like, I see that that's just something that's so lucrative, and like, you can't lose money on property, like, if you do it right, So I feel like my next big purchase would probably be like a duplex or a triplex somewhere, and renting it out.
Property,
yeah. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I also want a venue. My long-term goal, I think, is a venue, like a wedding venue type space, or like because I feel like that's just easy money, and like we have all the stuff for it. So yeah.
Well, listen, man, Meg, it's been a pleasure to sit down with you. It has been insightful. It has been funny. It has been a little judgmental, but do you want to plug yourself real quick for Instagram, Facebook, anything where they can find you?
Follow me on Instagram. My old one got hacked, so this one is at RedsRR 2022. Okay. So don't laugh at me, because my followers are low right now. And then I don't be doing TikTok yet, so maybe if I get somebody on there.
Hey, listen, you not being on TikTok is kind of encouraging, because we tried to do the TikTok thing. We did it pretty well for a while.
It's just a lot.
It's a lot.
And like,
It's a lot.
It's weird.
Yeah, you gotta learn it. And
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Facebook is my go-to. Facebook is just Red's Rolling Restaurant 1, 2, and 3. And then if you guys need any events, I do baby showers, grad parties, weddings. We just did a wedding for everyone who's from Pennsauken High. Coach Connor, our old trainer, his son's wedding. Anything. You guys need any food for, hit me up.
Would you do a food event for like a photo event? Like if my fiance was doing an event with a bunch of people taking pictures, like
Yeah.
photographers.
Yeah. There's like different packages I can offer. There's different minimums and stuff like that. So I'm very good at working within people's budgets, even if it's like not the food truck itself, just like trays and food like that. Yeah, and I also have bartending services as well now too, which I'm hype about because I'm a bartender at heart.
Tough.
So we have like our own bar we pull up, and we can make creative cocktails for you guys and things like that too.
That's
so.
fire. Well, you don't gotta go nowhere because it'll be right here.
Yeah.
Based on our
Right?
talk earlier.
And if anybody, honestly, another plug is I'm like looking to hire chefs and drivers. So if you're interested in like learning what it is to be in the industry or thinking about your own food truck, like come work for me. You will literally be driving, cooking, and cleaning, stocking with me. It can be gig work. It doesn't have to be a full-time thing. Like I do definitely take people that can just do weekends and whatnot. But it's a really good hands-on way to learn. And like I'm not afraid of competition because like we're all doing different things. So like if that's your goal. I have a kid that's right now, he's in culinary school and he is working on my trucks in the summer to learn what it's like.
That's tough.
So
That's tough.
yeah.
Creating opportunities, man. Creating opportunities. Listen, man, Meg, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thanks
it was
for having me.
so
This
much
was
fun.
great. This
so
was
much
fun.
fun. One time for the gang, y'all. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram. Shout out I Robinson, Tay, Vintage Sense, and OGs behind the camera. Until next time, y'all. It is This Side of Jersey podcast.